Hello and thanks for joining us for our late night newscast coming to you from Arirang's news centre in Seoul. I'm Mark Broome. We start with the latest on the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome or MERS outbreak in Korea. 12 more patients were confirmed with the virus today, bringing the total number to 138. The Health Ministry says one of the newly confirmed patients includes an ambulance driver who last week transported 2 people diagnosed with the MERS virus in the 3rd phase of transmission. This is the first report of a 4th-generation transmission, and it dims the chance, experts say, of the outbreak being brought under control anytime soon. The death toll from the outbreak now stands at 14 after a 67-year-old woman died while receiving treatment at a hospital. The ministry says the woman had already suffered from health problems which were apparently worsened by the MERS virus. All of those who have died in this outbreak have been elderly or people suffering from existing ailments. And on a more positive note, however, the number of patients who have gone on to make full recoveries has risen to 10. On top of that, more than 270 medical workers who were under quarantine at Pyeongtaek St. Mary's Hospital have been released after a 14-day incubation period ended with none of them showing symptoms. The hospital is where patient number 1 stayed between May 15th and the 17th, spreading the disease to 36 others. A joint team of experts from Korea and the World Health Organization has warned the country to expect more MERS cases in the coming weeks. Reporting their findings on Saturday, the team said the outbreak has been larger and more complex than similar occurrences seen in other parts of the world, but stated there's no indication the virus was spreading beyond hospitals.
At present, the mission has found no evidence to indicate that there is ongoing transmission in the community.
However, the WHO officials stress there will continue to be more sporadic cases of patients contracting the virus at affected hospitals. Admitting the outbreak could continue for some time, the WHO team said it will take several weeks for the current government measures to take what they called perfect effect. They also advised schools that have closed over fears of the virus to resume classes, saying the closures are not based on scientific grounds and only serve to increase panic. Now, as Korea battles the MERS outbreak, it's worth noting the virus is relatively new. It was first reported in Saudi Arabia in 2012, and it started between animals. Now, many are asking how it evolved to infect humans. Son Jung-in explains.
Virologists believe the virus originated in bats, and through long-term contact, it adapted to infect camels. And experts believe humans may have caught the virus by eating infected camel meat or drinking infected camel milk.
There are cases where pathogenic organisms somehow learn to infect humans through mutation or evolutionary processes.
The simple genetic makeup of the virus may also explain why its genes mutated so easily. Other viruses that have mutated and become transmissible to humans include the Ebola virus first discovered in 1976 in bats and the AIDS virus found in African monkeys in 1980.
Dominant viruses are more likely to evolve, and when these viruses proliferate, they create a new type of virus.
For humans, this evolution is considered a calamity. But for viruses, gene mutations are merely a survival strategy that allows them to adapt to new environments and fend off drugs developed by humans. Son Jung-in, Arirang News.
Prime Minister nominee Hwang Kyo-ahn has stepped down from his current post as Justice Minister as he awaits parliamentary confirmation for his next job. The presidential office said Saturday that it will name the new Justice Minister once Hwang is confirmed as Prime Minister. Hwang's resignation comes just a day after the ruling Saenuri Party unilaterally adopted his confirmation report. The ruling party says Hwang's appointment is needed to fill a void in state affairs, especially given the MERS outbreak here in Korea. The opposition party said the prosecutor-turned-justice minister is unfit for the post since he failed to submit all requested documents for the confirmation hearing. The National Assembly's vote on Hwang's confirmation is slated for some time next week. Korea and Japan have been holding senior-level talks on Tokyo's past sexual enslavement of Korean women for months now. But how far have they come in resolving the issue? Well, recent comments by President Park Geun-hye are raising questions about how much progress has really been made. Hwang Sang-hee reports.
In an interview with the Washington Post on Thursday, President Park Geun-hye noted considerable progress on the sex slavery issue, adding that the two sides are in the final stage of negotiations. She even expressed hopes for a very meaningful 50th anniversary of the normalization of their diplomatic ties on June 22nd. But her positive outlook is raising questions, especially when senior officials from the two sides failed to finalize a concrete outcome at their latest meeting on Thursday. They have held 8 rounds of talks to resolve the issue of Tokyo's sexual enslavement of Korean women. More than 200,000 women, mostly Korean, were forced to serve the Japanese military during Japan's colonial rule of Korea in the early 1900s. The Japanese daily Asahi Shimbun reported Saturday that President Park's comments have put Japan in a very difficult position. The newspaper cited an official from Japan's foreign ministry who said he didn't know the basis of the Korean leader's remarks. The Nihon Keizai Shimbun said that it was uncertain whether President Park's comments reflected the results of the most recent meeting. The two sides are trying to thaw their frosty relations ahead of events for the 50th anniversary on June 22nd. There is speculation President Park will attend a ceremony held at the Japanese embassy in Seoul, and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe will go to an event hosted by the Korean embassy in Tokyo. Another idea is for Korean Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se to attend the celebrations in Tokyo and hold talks with his Japanese counterpart Fumio Kishida. But for that, most say considerable progress will definitely be needed in resolving the sex slavery issue. Hwang Sang-hee, Arirang News.
The United States has rejected North Korea's claim that it targeted the regime with anthrax following a report that live samples of the bacteria were mistakenly sent to a US military base in South Korea. The response came after Pyongyang's ambassador to the UN wrote a letter to the UN Security Council asking it to investigate what the envoy called America's biological warfare scheme, stressing the US has been very clear about the circumstances that led to the accidental shipment. State Department spokesman Jeff Rathke told reporters the allegations were ridiculous and didn't merit a response. US defense officials disclosed late last month that live anthrax samples were shipped to labs in 19 US states and 4 countries, including Osan Air Base south of Seoul. The vice chairman of Samsung Electronics, Lee Jae-yong, has held talks with China's top legislator Jang Do-jang in Seoul. Meeting at one of the city's top hotels on Saturday, Lee is thought to have asked Jang to help Samsung build closer cooperation with several key financial institutions in China. The request comes as the Korean tech giant gears up to launch its Samsung Pay payment service in China and other overseas markets. Lee and Jang also discussed Samsung's Chinese operations and future investment plans. This meeting came a day after Jang, who is chairman of the Standing Committee of China's National People's Congress, held talks with Hyundai Motor Group chairman Jong Mong-gu and LG Electronics vice chairman Gu Bon-jun. Now, steelmakers generate a lot of heat when they are manufacturing metal products. To ensure that energy doesn't go to waste, one of Korea's largest steelmakers has launched a trial run of a new system for delivering recycled waste heat. Our Won Ji-yeon reports.
In Korea, you can get just about anything delivered, from food and groceries to furniture and household appliances. And soon, you can add heat to the list. And that's after Hyundai Steel Company, Korea's second-largest steelmaker, completed a trial run of a new heat delivery system that transports waste heat. During the trial, heat was captured from blast furnaces, which are used to melt iron at steel mills. The heat was then transferred onto a 5-ton truck that delivered the recycled energy to a local food waste facility for use as a power source. And just one of these trucks can hold enough heat to supply power to 5 households for up to 10 hours.
Our technology focuses on 2 things: restoring the heat energy in a short amount of time and delivering it to our clients quickly and at a consistent temperature.
To make sure the heat stays at the same temperature during transport, researchers equipped the truck with an aluminum container. The heat delivery system is being seen as a positive business model for Korea that could also help the environment. By recycling heat that would otherwise be lost in the air, researchers say the system could significantly reduce carbon emissions and cut the cost of raw materials by more than 90%. In the short term, Hyundai Steel plans to expand its heat delivery network to facilities within a 40-kilometer radius from its steel factories. Won Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Now, finally, taking a look at the weather, we have clouds and some light rain in the forecast tonight for most of the central region, but it is going to be rather warm with the overnight low only dipping to 18 degrees Celsius in the capital. Sunday is going to be partly cloudy with the chance for isolated showers in the afternoon. We'll see highs in the upper 20s around much of the country. Now, let's take a look at the weather around the world. Well, those are the stories we have for you at this hour. For more of the latest, don't forget to check out our website, arirang.co.kr/news. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.